the Russian Grand Prix here in SLR Division 1. It's round 17 of the season, and we've got 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of lights. Long hold, but it is lights out then, and we are go in Russia. It looks as though the Mercedes of Dylan's had a fantastic start there already, alongside not only his teammate but also Bennett, and there's a contact between the Mercedes and Sem trying to go down the inside, of them into turn 1. They're going to go 3 wide and just about get away with it. Sem getting a little half spin, and he's now under pressure from Lewis in the racing point. But the Mercedes, brilliant start from Dylan. Bunny's held position. Brindy maintains the lead as well. And they're going to go 3 wide again into turn 4, and Sem's been spun in between the 2 racing points. It's a Sem sandwich, and there's carnage at the back. We've got a few cars round. It's Van Dorn as well, I think, spinning in the background, but 3 into that corner was never going to work, as seen in real life a couple of years ago, or last year, whenever it was, with Giovinazzi spinning. So it's the racing points with a fantastic start up into 4th and 5th, but not without controversy there, having that incident with Sem. McEwen's up into 7th. Ranger from 16th is up into 8th. He's had a fantastic start there, the Williams driver. Preds is up to 9th as well, and Czech's lost out quite a bit here, down into 10th. And he's now battling his teammate by the looks of things for that P9. He's going to go round the outside into turn 13. He's going to try and hold it on his teammate, and my camera's been taken away from me for some reason. Every time I try to look back, it goes to Brindy, so that's a bit annoying. Czech has got the move done, and now Preds is under pressure from Danny behind. I don't know if you've seen anyone with damage at the back, as we've now got the Renault of Elite having a look at Sem by the looks of things. Riggsy's into the pit, so I think he must have gotten some damage. Probably going to have to go hard to the end, but kind of exactly what he said he wanted to avoid looks like has happened. He's the only driver into the pits, in fact, so it looks like everyone else just about avoiding damage, but that was an absolutely frantic start there, James.
I'm a bit confused by that. Riggs is changing his wing, but he didn't have any end plate damage, so it must have been probably about light green at worst. There was a bit of contact. It looked like he got tagged sort of in the braking, but yeah, Ranger absolutely sent it up the inside, kept it clean, and yeah, he's up 6. Is that 6 places already? I know it's something like that. Oh, it's the time.
He's up 8, I think.
Yeah, he's up 8. Either way, it's been a fantastic start for Ranger, but yeah, just launched at the inside. He's now down into P10, P9. Okay, no,
we've got Sem, on Danny James, and he's almost missed his braking point and hit into the side of Preds there. Now Danny's coming back at him round the outside into turns 8 and 9. Not quite able to get the move done though, as it's getting a little bit messy here. Sem's obviously losing quite a few positions from that spin, trying to make up for lost ground, as there's quite a big gap forming between Preds and Czech already, or now Sem and Czech by those things, as Sem does get up past the Ferrari and into the top 10, and Preds is going slowly because he's missing an end plate, James. So that would perhaps explain a little bit as to why there's such a big gap between the top 9 and everyone else. Brindy then already looking to pull away out front with a 1 second gap. We've got Jib Jab actually putting a little bit of pressure on the Mercedes of Dylan, but obviously the Mercedes running 2nd and 3rd. They do have the opportunity, they're in the position to work together a little bit, as Liam's looking like he's fancying a bit of a move on Lewis for P5 here, although he's got a little bit out of shape through the first corner, or turn 2 even. He's got McEwen on the back of him. McEwen's already made up a few positions himself off the start, 3 places to be precise, and Danny as well has gotten past Preds now, so I think that damage is really hampering him. So Lewis getting a bit out of shape. He's already gotten a time penalty, has the racing point driver, as Dylan as well picks a time penalty up. I think that's going to be a bit of a recurring theme, as we've already got 2 drivers with penalties on only the 3rd lap, so I think that'll be something that we'll just almost certainly keep seeing throughout the race. I don't know if there's much to report going on in that sort of second group as it was, James, but Liam's having a little look, not on this occasion, on Lewis.
No, not many position changes at all, really. I think Predators is going to start slipping further back with that damage. There's just seen Czech get past Ranger. I think that was on the timings. But Yeah, to be honest, I'm really surprised that Riggs did pit because there wasn't any visual damage. I think even with a little bit of wing damage, he probably could have stuck it out. But yeah, obviously I'm not driving the car. I don't know how it feels. But yeah, I think unfortunately for Predators, after that early damage, he's going to start falling further down as
We've got
is
Liam
using
having
a
a
lot
look
of his
down the
battery.
inside of Lewis, James, into
Ooh.
turn 1, or turn 2 again. I keep calling it turn 1, it's turn 2. He's going to try and hold it around the outside at turn 3, but just not getting the downforce that he needs to go around the outside. So he's going to have to stay behind Lewis for now. But it does look as though in these opening exchanges that Liam perhaps has a bit better pace than the Racing Point. McEwen as well is right in this fight, as is Czech, as is Ranger. So Czech as well has gained quite considerably on these guys, closed that gap down and gone past Ranger. Ranger getting a penalty there as well. Still finds himself in the top 9. Is Liam going to go for it again on Lewis? He's quite a way back, but he's using a lot of his battery here and getting quite significant overspeed on the Racing Point driver. Down the inside he goes. Excuse me, got the move done before the corner and maintains it throughout the duration of the turn and is up into P5. And now McEwen might fancy a little look at Lewis here into the final couple of corners. Close that gap down quite a bit, but Lewis got a good exit out of the third to last turn. It's all about this run out the final corner now, and going a bit wide, so that won't have helped him. Is Lewis going to be able to reply to Liam straight away? Doesn't look like it, and it doesn't look like there's any changes going on, but it looks as though Dylan is swapping with Bunny. I was going to say Dylan was pressuring his teammate. Jib Jab as well, sticking with them very nicely and putting a real fight to the Mercedes pair at the moment. Unfortunately, neither Mercedes car seemingly able to challenge Brindy, who's just pulling away considerably out front. Maybe the Mercedes feel that Dylan's got a bit more pace, although maybe part of the reason is because Dylan seems to be very aggressive with the track limits, running wide a couple of times already whilst we've been following him round. So maybe they're trying to close that gap down to Brindy, but it doesn't look like it's happening. Brindy definitely in control of this race as it stands. But yeah, Jib Jab with a really strong start up into 4th and sticking with the 2 Mercedes, James. So he looks like he's in a pretty good position.
Yeah, he does. Obviously, if the race was to end now, he'd be on the podium, wouldn't he? Again, he's been having some pretty solid results this season, actually, hasn't he, Jib Jab? But yeah, battle for P5 downwards really starting to pot up now with the likes of Czech and McEwen, as you say, just picking up a penalty. Ranger also with this battle for P5 having started down P16. So yeah, fair play to him there. He's not been able to gain anywhere near as much as some of these guys, and he's able to stick with them. So good on him on that one. But yeah, Elite did get past Predators a while ago, but now since then, Klock and Van Dorn have both got past him. And Van Dorn actually, having started from the back and being caught up in some sort of incident, I think at the start, he's doing alright. Not got any damage, not any visible damage anyway. And on those medium tyres, could still get himself a decent result here. As Czech picking up a penalty, they're coming in thick and fast now. Are those time penalties?
Yeah, the dirty air's kill around here if you're in a group, and Czech just getting a lot of understeer through these corners. He's really hounding the back of McEwen as well. Got very close to him under braking into turn 2. As did Jib Jab, in fact, to the back of Bunny. I thought he was going to go for the move, but trying to save his battery as he's looking a bit better on the battery compared to Bunny at the moment. But these guys are running so close, but yet just not close enough to go for a move. Although, having said that, it looks as though McEwen might be trying it into the middle, the final sector, sorry, as they go side by side. He's going to hold it in there, is the Haas driver, but Lewis defends well. It's hard defending from Lewis, but it was a good defence put up by him, and he was able to keep the Haas car behind for a moment. And there, Czech having a little look. He's just letting McEwen know he's there, as I think Czech probably feels as though he's faster than these guys. as it stands, but it's seemingly a lot more difficult than perhaps you might have expected to overtake, especially if you're in a train like this. Although, having said that, again, McEwen going for it on Lewis down into turn 1. Who's going to brake later? Just about McEwen, although they broke pretty much at the same point. Getting a little out of shape on the curb on the exit, and Lewis is going to go right back down the inside of turn 3, and he's giving McEwen a little bit of a squeeze to try and put him off the move into 4, but McEwen gets it done. Check, getting very close, if not touching the back of Lewis there, and Lewis isn't giving this position up on McEwen as he goes down his inside. A little bit of contact there, rubbing as racing, as they say, and they're still going at it now, side by side again into another corner. Lewis eventually has to back out as McEwen sweeps around the outside and takes position. Now Check's having a look down the inside, very opportunistic, and he's got it done as the Ferrari driver. What a brilliant move from Check, out of nowhere, caught Lewis napping, I think. You've got to be quick with these opportunities by the looks of things, and well, he definitely was there, and now he's going for the move on McEwen. He's trying to make it 2 moves in 2 corners. Is the Ferrari driver down the inside? He goes, not quite, didn't want to risk it. Later on the brakes than McEwen, and backed out of the move there, and he's just going to have to sit behind the Haas driver for a little while. And to be honest, that might not be the worst thing, because he could do the same with some of his battery up checkers. Again, running really wide with the understeer that he's getting from his lack of downforce following behind a few cars. While all of this has been going on, Lewis is kind of, Liam's just kind of been minding his own business at the head of the train here. Still in P5, and he's got a pretty nice gap to McEwen as well, around 7, 8 tenths. So Liam's driving a very solid race in these early stages. Bennett's come into pit, James. He's put the medium compound tyres on.
Yeah, I think there might have been a wing change there as well. I didn't actually see it, but based on the gap, the fact that he's now 6.5 behind Riggs suggests that he's probably changed his wing. The one thing as well about all this battling that's going on over P5, P6 is that it's allowing Sem to catch up. I'm not sure if he's got damage at all, but he was quite a way behind this scrap, and he's slowly creeping up towards them. Yeah, Rangel was looking racy as well on the back of Lewis, which I think really helped Sem to catch up. But this all seems to have quietened down a bit at the moment. I think we could be seeing a move for P5 from McEwen relatively soon though as well, Harry. So I'll be sure to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, this battle for second is quite interesting, James, because Dylan's at the front of the train and actually has the most ERS out of the 3 of them. Jib Jab and Bunny relatively similar in terms of their battery available to their disposal. Although, having said that, Bunny's managed to save about 20% in just 1 lap there. I think Jib Jab's having to push quite hard to stay with the 2 Mercedes, but it's proven very beneficial to him because, well, they've got a 4.2 second gap to Liam behind, so it's giving them a nice buffer for later on in the race. We've got Ranga now and Sem both in the pits going for the mediums, I would imagine. So we'll see where they come out in relation to Riggs, because Riggs was kind of around where Sem was when he pitted, and yeah, he's nowhere near. As we've got a car round, we've got Dylan's just spun into the wall.
Big damage,
I was looking at the mini-map, so apologies, I kind of missed that. But yeah, Dylan's got a big chunk of his front wing missing. He'll definitely have to pit, and that's really unfortunate for Dylan because he was driving a really nice race in P2. But yeah, I think that's really kind of ruined his race almost, as he's kind of getting out of the way and kind of not, as Lewis goes past him there. Lewis, I think, might have made a mistake as well, James, because he's dropped off of the back of Czech as well. A little bit, so that's kind of now that's released Jib Jab and Bunny into second and third, so both of them now on the podium positions.
Yeah, I think Sem must have
Bunny very late
well.
move into the pits, but it was within the limits. Jib Jab moving into the pits, and he's just hit the back of Bunny and given Bunny a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pits. It looks as though Bunny was going very slowly into the pits and Jib Jab very quickly, and they kind of met in the middle. So Jib Jab's got a front wing change now, and Bunny's got a 5-second penalty, which is really unfortunate for him. It's a very slow pit lane here, 37 miles an hour, which probably explains a little bit as well as to why it's such a long pit lane, like 27 seconds for a stop. And McEwen's gone onto the hards, James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit confused about that one. I was gonna say actually it'd probably be worth Jib Jab going for a undercut on one, if not both the Mercedes, but obviously that spin for Dylan would have been good for him. Although having said that, he's come out a long way behind. Did he change his wing then after that contact with Bunny? Yeah. Did he? Oh, I didn't see it, so I wasn't sure how big the contact is. The annoying thing for Bunny is, as far as I'm aware, I don't think that 5-second penalty can be removed. So
no, I can't.
yeah, just one of those unfortunate things. Completely out of his hands, but yeah, he's obviously got to get his head down now and focus on the race. Any sort of safety car now would really benefit the guys who have started on the, well, say now started probably another 3 or 4 laps time to really benefit the guys on the mediums. But yeah, I don't think all's lost for them just yet. It's kind of hard to tell what the order is because obviously so many people going on to different strategies.
Well,
we've had quite a few
I
wing
think
changes as well. Yeah, I think Brindy's
lead will have extended through that pit stop phase,
but
despite giving Bunny an undercut.
How everyone's looking.
I'll tell you what, we've got Van Dorn and Clock running now second and third, both started on the mediums. They both got 70% of their battery, so they're really managing that well. Running some nice races here. Danny as well, who now takes the lead of the race, is about 3 seconds up the road, so he's having a very nice race as well. Brindy's come out of the pits then just behind the Renault of Elite, who also hasn't pitted. Preds is soldiering on with his missing M plate, but it's really killed him, to be honest. that missing M plate, as he's now P7 and still yet to pit. He's just been passed by Bunny, who is a good 5 seconds off of the lead now, and with a 5-second penalty added on. So Brindy's got what's that? Basically a 10-second lead. Well, it's his to lose now, definitely. Liam, in fact, is actually running a net P3.
No,
James.
don't say it. No.
So he's having a fantastic race at the moment. I know you say not to say it, but I can't really avoid saying it.
I think if anyone deserves a good result here, it'd be Liam, wouldn't it? But yeah, I don't wanna jinx him. Brindy doing a good job getting through the traffic there, making the move up the inside of Elite into turn 13. Yeah, he's ended up with about a 5-second lead after the stops, hasn't he? So yeah, if he can get through this traffic nicely in the next few laps, and he could probably take his foot off the gas a little bit towards the end. But obviously, there's still a long way to go in this race. It's far from over yet.
Yeah, definitely. McEwen then just about able to sit with Liam on those hards, but I think that was definitely a bit of a mistake strategy-wise from him, as he's got Czech now right behind him, deploying pretty much all that remains of his battery in order to try and go for the move. But he's not going to be able to. Down into turn 1 is Czech. McEwen then holding on at the moment, but Czech's going to have another go, I think, around the outside at turn 3, is he? Again, just not getting the downforce that he needs to go round the outside there, and has to sit behind him through turn 4. I think Czech maybe just could do with saving his battery up a little and biding his time, because as soon as he gets past McEwen, he's going to have no battery then to attack Liam. Even if he does get past Liam, I'd be surprised if he could pull away with his battery situation. Dylan picks up another penalty. Really unfortunate after that spin, and things just going from bad to worse for the Mercedes driver. It really does seem to be a recurring theme, doesn't it? It's like when it rains it pours for these guys. It's like if they're having a bad race, they're really having a bad race. I think you could probably group Sem and Riggs in that, despite the fact Sem just set the fastest lap. He's a long way off of the main group, and of course Riggs pitting that one for the hards. What's going on? Big
moment for Danny out of turn 16. I think he's just got too much of the inside curb, and yeah, almost put it in the wall, but he did well to hold it, and now that's allowed Van Dorn right onto the back of him, and Brindy as well. So Yeah, they were
Yeah,
doing
Van
it
Dorn's
nicely.
pretty much letting Brindy go there.
Yeah, nicely passed on the
Chet
straight.
gets another time penalty.
Smart driving from Van Dorn, knows where the fight is. He can save a bit more of that battery now and just use Brindy to get himself right onto the back of Danny. No penalty as well for the AlphaTauri driver, so any sort of safety car now, or even just going onto those softs in a couple of laps time, and I think Van Dorn could be on for a nice result here.
Now we've got Liam battling it out with Prez, and this is getting a bit messy as now McEwen's trying to thread the needle in between both the Ferraris, and then have a look round. Liam's outside. Liam having to kind of cut the corner to give McEwen room, but holds on to the position for now. That got pretty messy there, as kind of
Jib Jab smashing the back of him. Racing Points flying out as well. How he started to cut in there, but yeah, it's all kicking off. Still kicking off as well. Pred's just being absolutely swamped with that damage, of course, still. But yeah, about a 7-car battle now for net P3.
Yeah, it's getting quite spicy here, as somehow they've all kind of remained in the same order, despite. Oh, as Ranga hits the wall there under braking, getting a little bit out of shape.
Sam might still be able to catch up to the back of these cars as well.
Yeah, Sem's. I think Sem must have had damage at the start, because I don't know quite how he lost so much time to these guys. The Racing Point's now battling it out, and we've got a safety car. But a VSC, but a virtual one, yes.
If that had been
Dylan has retired and is out.
If that had been a couple corners before, Danny and Van Dorn could have pitted, and that would have been a brilliant time for them. Yeah, just unfortunately it wasn't a bit earlier or a full-on safety car.
Brindy is now back up into the lead.
Yeah, he got past
Danny,
I think, down to turn 13.
Yeah, we've kind of got that group of the 4 mediums runners then, 2nd to 5th, and then it's Bunny and Liam after that. McEwen's backing off quite a bit. I wonder if he's just trying to save a bit of extra battery here. Obviously, the VSC allowing these guys to get a bit of battery up, which is always going to be useful. But yeah, it is, like you say, a really good battle between, what's that, 5 cars at the moment. Oh no, it is 6 cars, sorry, 6 cars for the net P3. So we're back underway already, so it was a pretty short VSC as far as they go. And it's kind of business as usual with this group battling it out still. Look at the gaps on the left there. 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 4 tenths.
I know we've just had a VSC, Harry, but Van Dorn's got 100% battery, and Danny in front of him only has 25%. So Van Dorn is doing a great job of saving the battery and showing good pace as well.
Yeah, I mentioned that a few laps ago, that he was on sort of 70 odd still. So yeah, really managing his battery well. As you say, Clock has pitted. So pitting pretty much as early as you can onto the softs.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think we'll be seeing some guys in the pits soon. The softs don't wear anywhere near as badly later on the race as they do at the start. They don't even wear badly at the start, to be honest. They just drop off a bit, but yeah, they can go good 13 or so laps at the end.
Trying it around the outside, Liam into turn 2, couldn't get it done. Liam lost the back end a little bit, had a bit of a slide on the exit, and now McEwen's going to try it around the outside through turn 3, but again, it's the same old through turn 3. You just can't get it done around the outside, so Liam holds the position then, and in fact has a bit more battery at his disposal as well than the Haas driver behind him. So Liam's got maybe just keeping that little trick up his sleeve for some defensive work that it looks as though, well, he's having to do. He's being put under pressure. I think Liam's pace isn't bad by any means, obviously, don't get me wrong, but obviously with the power of the slipstream and the DRS around here, it's quite difficult really to shake a car off. So despite McEwen being on the hard compound tyres, he's still keeping up with Liam, and these guys are all just keeping up with one another, as they have been pretty much the whole race. This has really been the battle that's been going on. Of course, Jib Jab's found himself in this battle after his mistake coming into the pits, after he was running with Bunny battling it out for P2. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Brini's got a massive lead now. Bunny's kind of in no man's land on his own in P2. He's got 6.2 seconds to Liam, so he's not really at any threat of losing that position as it stands either. As we've got a bit of action going on behind, have we? It looks as though the Racing Points were battling with Ranger, but again, everyone just remaining, excuse me, as they are. As Preds on those fresh softs has just set the fastest lap of the race. Rigsy as well as pitted for some softs, but he is again kind of like Preds, kind of like his teammate, kind of like Cock as well, unfortunately, quite a way off the points as Liam does pick up a time penalty. That could be crucial as this race progresses. Of course, we know that all these drivers, apart from Jib Jab in this battle, have penalties. McEwen gets another one, we know that for sure, but we don't know the exact details of how many seconds they have, just that they have some form of time penalty to be added on. And we try and remain and keep it that way, as Czech's going to have a look down the inside of the Haas, and he's going to get the move done. Is he? McEwen trying to go back at him around the outside, but again, trying it around the outside here really doesn't seem to be working. So Czech then up into 6th, and he's now going to be the car to try and get past Liam, and well, he's going about it the right way already, a 10th off the back of the AlphaTauri. I wonder if Liam is maybe just thinking long term here. Maybe a penalty situation is looking a bit better for him than it is Czech. I'd imagine he should be able to sit with Czech if he goes through, which he is. And if he can, then it might come into play later on. So Czech does get the position. Liam didn't put up a massive fight, it has to be said. But again, I think that's probably just smart driving from him. Doesn't obviously want to get any damage, get involved in a collision when he's running so high up, as any of these guys would. You know, they're all having some pretty good races as it stands. As Ranger as well is having a fantastic race, it has to be said, starting down in P16 he was. So he's up 10 positions, I believe. We'll check that now. That was penalties. I didn't see it, so sorry if anyone did. I didn't mean to do that. Ranger's up 10, yeah, from where he started. So brilliant race he's having at the moment. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to bring the min penalties up. I was just being clowning it. Oh, I've done it again, for Christ's sake. What am I doing?
I kept doing that when I did the Div 3 stream at Monza.
I always forget which way I'm going with the menus. Again, I didn't quite catch it, but obviously, sorry, I'm having a bit of a mare here. Anyway, yes, so Liam, I think just about sticking with Czech, I say, ish. Although Czech really is pushing on. Maybe Liam might want to use some of that battery that he's got, and he has got the DRS still. And Lewis is now putting Ranger under quite a bit of pressure here. They look to battle it out for 6th. No, he's not. He's he's just happy to sit behind. He's content with where he is, shown by the little bit of the weaving down the straight. It's one of those really. I think when you're not defending a position or whatever, weaving's fine, like Lewis was doing there. But obviously, if he was being attacked by someone, to do that maybe isn't the smartest idea. But it's his teammate behind him as well, so I doubt they'd be sending penalties against one another. But you never know. As we've got more yellow flags, so Van Dorn's had a bit of an incident there at turn 4. I don't know if he's got any damage, has he, James, if you caught that?
Who's that, sorry?
Van Dorn.
Oh, Van Dorn. I can have a quick look, although it is sometimes quite hard to tell. I can't see any on the offboard, but I couldn't see any for Sem or Rigsy, and they both pitted for new wings, so yeah.
They're starting to spread out. Czech has pulled over a second to Liam. McEwen's almost dropping out of DRS range of the AlphaTauri as well. So maybe, well,
Sem's been creeping up to this battle as well, though, hey?
And he has. The gap's come down over a second, hasn't it?
Yeah, he made quite a big mistake just up there into turn 15, which maybe even cost him DRS. But Yeah, he's been going about his business quietly after that wing change, and unfortunately for him, it could have been a whole lot better if he hadn't have had to have changed that wing, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's kind of the case with quite a few drivers here. In fact, we've got Lewis and Varanga going side by side here through turn 3. Lewis kind of coming out of nowhere, caught me napping. Might have caught Ranga napping a little bit as well, but Ranga defends the position down the inside at turn 4. But Lewis is going to try it down the inside at turn 5. Both drivers leaving plenty of room for one another. It's good, clean racing here. But Ranga defending the position. Good driving from the pair of them, as I say. Ranga remaining ahead for now, but they can't afford to fight too much, or at least lose too much time battling, because, well, Ranga has nearly lost DRS. And in fact, he has just lost DRS to McEwen, so this might make Lewis's job a little bit easier, as they're both under 10% on the battery. We can see that for Lewis, and we can see that for Ranga with his red light flashing on the back of the car, indicating he's low on energy. And Lewis does get the position then off of Ranga, but he's going to have to try and push to catch the back of McEwen to get the DRS, otherwise he could be at risk of Ranga coming back at him. Although, having said that, I think he's made a bit of a mistake there, as Czech gets another penalty. I think that might even be Czech's third penalty of the race here, so I don't think all hope is lost yet by any stretch for Liam in his bid for a podium, as Van Dorn getting one as well. I mean, it's really the case. Jib Jab, I'd say, is actually, well, he might even be in a podium position still, Jib Jab, despite having, despite being down in P8, he's got no penalties. Although, obviously, these results, and I cannot stress this enough, will be provisional. Getting very wide. I think understeer, it does seem to be really the killer around here, doesn't it, James? When you're following behind some cars, obviously at a track where the track limits are enforced so so strictly, the dirty air that you get when following behind another car really does seem to affect you more than at other tracks.
Yeah, I think we've got to bear in mind as well. Well, they're probably running quite low downforce as well, so maybe not quite getting as much turning as they would like. But you've got to sacrifice a bit of downforce for the straight line speed, because yeah, that's pretty essential around here. But no, on the whole, they've done a good job. Like even the side by side that we had a lap or so ago with Lewis and Ranga through a corner that I was wincing at a bit, because it didn't look like Lewis was really close enough to make a move, but Ranga left them room, and they managed to make it side by side. So yeah, maybe running a bit lower downforce than they'd like, but they're still making it work. I think,
yeah, I think McEwen might be ruining going onto the hards here, because he seems pretty quick.
It'll be quick towards the end though, of course.
Yeah, he will, but the hards, I mean, the mediums don't really go off that much. So unless the hards really come into play, I mean, I think he might. I mean, oh, well, obviously there's still quite a way to go, but I hope he doesn't regret going on to the hards. So yeah, they've dropped Lewis as well, these guys, since he was battling with Ranga and then got past him.
And they've been dropped by Czech as well.
Yeah, Ranga and Jib Jab kind of just sticking with, and Sem has now caught up to the back of them. And in fact, James, they've got Clock and Danny a second and a half and 2 seconds behind as well. So this battle for P6 could suddenly involve a couple more cars on softs as well. So this battle definitely isn't over yet, as Ranga again getting very wide. Yeah, he seems to be struggling to keep it on the track at the moment, just the Williams driver. He did hit the wall a little while ago. Doesn't have any visible damage, but he might have got a bit of damage from it. Who knows? That could perhaps explain a little bit as to why he's off the track so much. But I mean, look at that. The gap out front, Brindy Boy, 9 seconds ahead and without a penalty. Absolutely dominating the race. We've not even been on board with him. That's kind of how dominant he's been. He's not had any challenge, so we've not really had any reason to go on board with him. But yeah, he's having a fantastic race so far. On, I'd say, a weekend where he really needed it, because while he's not been having the worst results in the world as of late, he really needed a win to sort of just kick-start that last push towards the championship. as McEwen now getting past Liam, and we've got Sem going for it on Jib Jab, and he gets the move done. So Sem up into 8th, then past Jib Jab. And yeah, like I say, I mean, Brindy is definitely putting him back into a strong position in the championship, because it was getting well, the gap was definitely closing down in the last few weeks. So I'm sure he would have maybe been starting to look over his shoulder a little with those catching up.
Yes, back to the Brindy of old, isn't it? From the middle part of the season, where he was just so dominant in qualifying and the race. Not as straightforward in qualifying. It was pretty close in the end, but yeah, in the race he's just looked comfortable. No penalty. The gap's always been he's always been more than a DRS gap ahead of the guys behind, and yeah, I think it would take some sort of miracle for him to lose this one, or miracle for the guys behind, that is, for him to lose this
I'll
one.
tell you what, James, we're about to get a massive battle for 4th by the looks of things. Lewis and Ranga almost getting DRS on one another, and Lewis on Liam, as McEwen has gotten past Liam as well, but they're kind of they've all compressed again, and it looks as though we might start to get a battle for P4 once again, as Danny and Clock have now caught up to the back. But despite being on the softs, it is so difficult to overtake around here. Even with this long DRS straight, Sem going for the move on Ranga, then down into turn 1. Ranga's going to try and hold it around the outside. Bit of contact between the pair of them. And now Jib Jab is going for it on Sem, and he might have a look at Ranga as well down into turn 4. Will the Racing Point driver? No, but he gets ahead of Sem, but Sem round the outside coming at him, gets a penalty for his troubles. But he does get the move on Jib Jab. Jib Jab backing out of the move, in fact, into turn 5 and letting Sem go. So the gap to Lewis that was just over a second is now closer to 2 again. So maybe that big battle for P4 isn't quite on the cards, as we've got just over 4 laps remaining in this session. Let's see if Clock can use these soft compound tyres and 40% battery to his disposal, as Liam's getting back past McEwen as well in their battle for P4. It's losing them a lot of time to check though, which they can't really afford, especially well, considering the penalty situation. If Czech's got a few more penalties than Liam McEwen, Sem and Ranga now going side by side, as Clock's gotten past Jib Jab. Jib Jab's now coming under pressure from Danny as well. Sem's trying to get this move done on Ranga. Clock needs to capitalise on this and get the pair of them if he can. He's got to start using some of that battery, which he is. Sem has got under 10% of his, and Ranga wasn't looking much better either. Sem, is he going to go for the move into turn 2? Ooh. Ranga covers the inside. Sem's going for it. Massive lock up both fronts for Sem, and now Clock's going to try it, is he? Round the outside at 3 again. Not going to work. They never learn. Ranga getting another penalty there. I mean, can't really say too much on that, because he's not the only one, is he? He's picked up a few penalties here this evening. As we keep mentioning, Russia's definitely one of the harder tracks for keeping it within the limits on the game. As Sem is again, he's harrying the back of that Williams car, trying to find a way past. Is he going to go for it here? Yes, but there's contact. God, that was nearly an awful crash. Made contact going into the braking zone there, James, and Sem does get past.
Yeah, Sem's actually done really well after that wing change in the pit stop to not only catch up to this group but also get past them. I think he's got his work cut out catching the 3 seconds to Lewis, but yeah, it's been a great recovery either way. I think McEwen's going to be looking at getting past Liam again. He's going to choose the outside for turn 2. Liam's going to try and hold up the inside, and just about holds onto the position. Might be to a warning for his troubles. McEwen going to try around the outside, but not quite got enough speed. Baggy's putting his vote for driver of the day towards Brindy. I think this one could still be settled at the end of the race. I think there's going to be quite a few position changes thanks to penalties.
Yeah, Clock had a little look down the inside of Ranger into turn 1, but wasn't quite close enough to get the move, and he's still got Danny right behind him, as he has been throughout this whole second stint really. Danny's been right on the back of Clock, but these guys still not giving up. Clock hasn't got a penalty as well, so that could be crucial from the end of the race, as Brindy's about to start the penultimate lap. Is Clock going to be close enough to go for a move on Ranger this time? No, he's not. And now Van Dorn and Jib Jab are battling it out. So Jib Jab's losing another position here to a soft compound runner, with Van Dorn muscling his way through and up into P11 now for the Alpha Tauri driver. And Elite in the Renault as well seems to be trying to get onto the back of this train, as Danny's really hounding the back of Clock through the final corner. And Clock, I think, is going to give it another go on Ranger into turn 1. There's action all over the shop here. Clock getting past then pretty comfortably in the end. Ranger can't really put much of a defence, but he goes deep, does Clock, and Ranger's going to try it then down the inside at turn 3. They're going side by side. Who's going to brake latest? Kind of neither of them. There's a bit of contact made on the exit as Ranger's trying to hold it around the outside through turn 5. But Clock just getting the better grip. And now Danny's going to have a look at Ranger, is he as well? Yes. And he gets the move done, but a bit of oversteer and understeer. And he pushed Ranger off, but they're still going side by side. They're still going at it. It's hard racing between the pair of them. And Danny does eventually get his way past, but Ranger's still trying to put the pressure on. So the Red Bull driver running really wide on the exit down the back straight, and now Van Dorn as well is going for the move on Ranger down into the final sector. He's going to try it around the outside, as he did the reverse of what he did to Jib Jab, and he's going to get the move done. So Ranger losing 3 positions there in half a lap, which I think is just unfortunate, because I think that just shows how much better the softs are at this stage of the race than those mediums. But we are now on the final lap. Go to McEwen, see if he can get a move done on Liam. He's got no battery, but if you look there, neither has Liam. But I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. Not on this occasion. I think that's pretty much his last chance, to be honest. Lewis is sticking with them, but isn't really close enough either to go for any sort of move. Clock could be in a decent position though here, James, to still pick up quite a few points, because he's not got a penalty. He's the only driver apart from Brindy in the top 10 at the moment without a penalty. Liam gets another one, and that could be crucial as well to his final finishing position.
Yeah, it could. I'm not entirely sure on the penalty situation, but I don't think that will lose him any, but it could have cost him a chance at P3, which would be a real shame for Liam, who's driven a great race, actually, probably his best race of the season so far. But yeah, Clock could gain big time here through penalties. He might even sneak the podium here if he's lucky, although I think I might just be a bit too far off.
Here we go then, across the line. We've not really seen anything of him this race, but he takes the win. Brindy Boy, a dominant display in Russia to, well, definitely lay a claim on that championship title.
The reaction
not
in the
over
chat
by any stretch.
suggests that
So
Liam's not going to get the podium.
Liam, I think,
that was
threw
it.
away the podium on the final lap with that penalty, which is so unfortunate, and Clock goes up to P4 as well. So Liam lost 2 positions because of that, which is so unfortunate, but still P5 is a brilliant result for him. McEwen 6th, Van Dorn 7th, making it a 5-7 for AlphaTauri. That's a great result for them as a team, probably their best all season in Division 1, I think, collectively. Jib Jab 8th, Sem 9th, Lewis is 10th in the end, Elite 11th, Danny 12th, Ranger 13th, Riggs 14th after all the penalties have been decided. Preds gets fastest lap at the end and comes home 15th. Bennett 16th. Dylan, of course, retired and was 17th. But wow, what a race from Brindy! Absolutely dominant. And Bunny as well drove a very nice race. Wasn't unfortunately able to challenge. Was able to challenge Brindy, but a solid race P2, basically unchallenged after the pit stops. Either of the top two drivers, and yeah, Czech, despite getting quite a few penalties early on, was able to hold on to P3. Brilliant drive from Clock as well, James, to come home fourth. I believe he started 13th.
Yeah, he did.
So a great drive on the alternate strategy, and no penalties as well for him, which is a fantastic effort.
I was close, wasn't I? I said alternate strategy might just sneak a podium, and Clock was just over a second off one after penalties. But yeah, I think that's it couldn't have gone any better, could it, for Brindy, with Riggs failing to score points. That means the gap at the top of the championship, 51 points with I think that's 5 races to go, is it? What have we got? Japan, Mexico, USA, Brazil. Yeah, 5 races to go, 51 points. Don't want to speak too soon, but it's looking good for Brindy, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it definitely is, and it was a brilliant drive today. Dominant, displaying, like you say, kind of back to the Brindy of old. Bunny as well, in fact, the only penalty he picked up was that 5-second speeding in the pit lane that kind of wasn't even his fault anyway. So he had a very good race as well, did Bunny. Czech recovered well then, because he didn't have the best of starts. Got back into a podium position, and even with the 9 seconds of penalties, was able to hold on. So that's a good effort from Czech there. Showed that he obviously had some pretty good pace when he was able to use it. But we're starting to get the guys in the party for the interviews. So I'll hand it over to you, James, when you're ready. Just remember to tick your boxes. I'm sure you all know it by now. But yeah, I don't know if you're all here, top 3, but brilliant races from the lot of you. And in fact, there was some really good battling going on for that battle, kind of for 4th and 6th throughout the race. Some really good battling, pretty clean as well on the whole. So it was great to see.
Yeah, we'll start with the 3rd place driver then, which was of course Czech. Not the greatest of starts from yourself, I'm sure you'd agree. I think down in P10 and battling your teammate at one point on the first lap, but a great recovery through the field, and like Harry said, even with the 9 seconds of penalties, still bringing home a podium. So yeah, just talk us through how that race was for yourself.
Yeah, like you said, I'm pretty ecstatic to get P3 after 9 seconds of pens, and first race with ABS off. To get a podium is I was struggling so much in that first lap. I mean, I had Sem turned the other way in front of me, so I had to stop after having quite a good start, and then managed to fight my way back. Annoyed with my quali lap, but because I felt even after I got into the front and I was pulling a gap to Liam and that, I was looking at my gap to Brindy, and it was kind of similar, but I'm sure he was tyre saving or just cruising in the lead. So, but yeah, I'm ecstatic to get P3.
Yeah, well, it was a great recovery, I think, and for your first race without ABS, a great result. The pace looked strong, to be honest. So I think get up to speed with it and could find another few tenths, which could be enough to maybe move you up a division potentially. But we will we'll move on to P2 then. Which was, of course, Silly Bunny. The first thing I've got to say is pretty glad, to be honest, that 5-second penalty you got didn't affect your position at all. But yeah, just kind of found yourself in no man's land really at the end with Dylan spinning during that first stint, and then the racing points just dropping off. But yeah, good that the penalty didn't affect your position, and bringing in P2 was another very good result.
Yeah, cheers. That makes me feel better that you're saying that, because at the time it happened, I dropped down to neutral, so I had no power. I didn't mean to drop into neutral, and I rolled into the pits, and I was like, was that my fault? But no, I think he was speeding anyway, so I have to watch about it. Yeah, like you said, I was pretty much in no man's land the whole race. There was a little stint at the start where I let Dylan through to see if we could catch Brindy, but I mean the guy's a alien. Like, he's like on the softs, he was putting like half a second a lap on me. I felt clueless. Now on the mediums, yeah, came out 6 seconds behind, and yeah, from there on, I was just pretty much chatting to check and fixing that, just trying to manage the race at a point. Yeah, well done to Brindy. Pace was unreal, literally stupid pace, and yeah, congrats to Jack as well on the podium.
Well, then we'll quickly move on to Brindy then. Keep it short and sweet tonight because it's been another long one. But yeah, Brindy, another dominant victory, pole position and the race win. Don't want to speak too soon, but it's 51 points now with 5 races to go. So I'm sure you agree it's looking good for that Div 1 title.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. It's always good to sort of outscore your opponents. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to tonight. I was really struggling with track limits quite a lot, and you probably saw that in quali that like my first 2 laps I invalidated, which was really frustrating. And then my 3rd lap on the same set of tyres ended up being pole, which I was not expecting at all. Yeah, and then in the race, managed to stay ahead into turn 1 or 2 or whatever it is. Just managed to keep ahead and then just try to make sure I was as consistent as possible without picking up penalties. And then on the mediums, I felt really good. Pace really, really consistent. All of my laps were in about 3/10 of each other, so I was really happy with that. And yeah, I'm really happy to be back on the top step after not. I think my last win was Britain, so it's nice to be back. And congrats to Bunny and Czech. You know, first race without ABS. It can be quite difficult to understand like how ABS. I don't want to sound condescending or anything, but having done it recently myself, I know I know how difficult it is. So
Cheers, mate,
I think they both did a really good job to get on the podium.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, well said. I'm not sure how many wins that is for the season, but either way, it was another great drive, and yeah, probably one of the more comfortable ones. But yeah, I think that'll do it. That'll do it for the interviews, and I am a bit conscious of how long this has gone on for. So yeah, I'll finish that bit for this week then, and let you round out the stream.
Alright then, so that's all we've got for this evening, and for Russia we head to Japan next time out. A race that has for the last couple of seasons now provided a little bit of action for the championship. So that'll be definitely an interesting one to see how we get on there. But it has been a pretty good race throughout. Congratulations, of course, to the top 3. We had some brilliant battling going on as well throughout the top 10. So it was a good watch. Lots of action going on throughout. So we didn't really have to fill the gaps too much this evening, which is always nice. But yeah, as I say, be sure to join us next week then for Japan, and of course throughout the rest of the weekend for the other divisions. But thank you all for watching, and that's me signing off. Good night.